Do you want to see what happens when you're germinating mango seeds in the wet paper towel method and you forget about them a little too long? Come join me. We're going to look at them and plant a couple of them, talk a little bit about mango seeds. Hey, it's Elise, and I'm glad you stopped by. Get a chance, check out the other videos on mangoes, and please like, subscribe, share. Watch the video all the way to the end. Okay, mangoes are my very favorite fruit. I love them. This is the honey or altafo, also called champagne or gold or honey mango. And I show in other videos how to extract the mango seed from the husk. But I'll just go over this just a little bit. You do not have to extract the seed from the husk. You can plant the whole husk. You can even plant the whole mango if the mango happens to be bad and you don't really want to fool with it. So there's ways to do it. The easiest way that I have found is to go ahead and take the seed out of the husk and use the wet paper towel method. I don't always use it sometimes, so just go ahead and I plant the seed. Now when I use the wet paper towel method, I'm not real persnickety about it. I take the mango seed and I just flop some paper towels around it. I wet the paper towel and I put it in a Ziploc bag. I close my Ziploc bags. Now, if you're working with smaller seeds with the wet paper towel method, then you might want to be a little more careful about making sure the edges are closed so that if you do handle it, they won't fall out. All right, I like to place these in a warm area and then I will turn them over every couple of days. And I do write on the bag at least the date. If I have more than one variety, I'll write the variety. Okay, so I pulled these out just a few moments ago. I forgot about them. I put them on a shelf out on the back patio where it's quite warm. I'm in zone 9B or 10A. We're at 107 heat index today. Quite hot. So that's why I'm up on the patio. All right, so these are ready to come out. And just be careful if you've let them go as long as I have. It is not unusual for that top skin to turn brown and fall off. That doesn't hurt. If your paper towel is stuck on the roots or on the stem, just very gently tear it off. If some stays on, that's fine. You can plant it with some of the paper towel on. It's not going to hurt it. Okay. Look at the little leaves coming out, and these are the roots coming down. Isn't that neat? Neat. So let's look at a couple more. And of course you can reuse these bags over and over and over. Paper towels, no, but you can take the paper towels, throw them in your compost pile. You can earth compost, you can vermicompost. So even the paper towels, you don't have to just throw away. Look at that one. The roots are stuck. It looks like a little alien, doesn't it? Let's look at this one. Neat. Okay. Now I'm going to put these in gallon-sized pots. If I had 2 gallon-sized pots, I would go ahead and put them in 2 gallons, but I don't. So, you know, you have to use what you have when you have it. Now this, I saved this to last to show you. Look at that. And this is the first one I opened. I thought, oh my gosh, I really did leave it way too long. So 2 separate stems. It's going to have 2 separate root systems. Let me see if I can spray this and get that paper towel off a little easier. Wow! But this is what happens if you let it sit too long. A little longer than I normally like to have it set, but you know, it wasn't in here very long. Start checking. If you're in a warm place, start checking in about 7 days. And all you need for them to do is just produce a little bit of growth. And I swear I just checked these a couple of days ago and they were fine. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Here's your root system coming down. This is going to be the radical root coming down. Here's another radical root coming down. Wow. Honey mango, my very favorite mango. Okay. You can also plant these directly into the ground. Not a problem. If you are in an area where you can plant into the ground, you don't have to worry about squirrels and other little animals pulling it up for you. You can plant directly into the ground. This is all-purpose potting soil. It is just a little moist. Now, I'm not going to try and break these apart anymore. They'll straighten out by themselves. I'm just going to make a little depression, enough to lay that in. Scoot it over a little off-center so that the stems coming up are more into the center. And cover it up. I'm going to keep this in indirect light for a little while. That will help them go through the stress. I'm going to keep them well watered, not soggy, but enough that they don't go into stress for not having enough water. And you can put a label on them if you aren't sure of what they are. The honey mango is the only one that I'm germinating and planting now, so I know these are honey mangoes. And I know what a young mango seedling looks like. But that's how easy it is. And they will take off, honestly. In no time at all, they'll be a foot tall. In a couple of weeks, if it's doing good, I'll come back and I'll give it a little Epsom salts. Epsom salts, about a tablespoon per gallon of water. It helps with the stress. Now I'm going to plant this one, I believe. And sometimes it's hard to tell what you want to do because here's all the roots on this side, but yet the stem is also going on that side. If I put all the roots in the dirt, then my stem is going to go down. So what I'm going to do on this one is plant it on its side. Sometimes you just have to adjust. That way the roots are covered, the stem is exposed. Water it really well. Now I've got to go and get a couple more pots ready. But again, don't be surprised if your outer skin turns brown and even black and looks like it's decaying and falls off. Now, if the seed isn't good, it can go ahead and rot on you. Now, this one has grown all the way down in. I can try to help it a little bit and see if I can get it out without tearing it up. Wiggle it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now these will straighten up. Most of your seeds are going to be geotropic, which means they're going to orientate themselves with the stems coming up and the roots going down. Neat. So I need to get a pot for that. And I need to get a pot for this little baby. Look at that. All those new little leaves coming. And this was the other side of this seed. And I'll plant that. Wow. Isn't that neat? I get really excited when I find things like this. Okay. Mango seeds germinate extremely well using the wet paper towel method. There are other ways to germinate your seeds, so use whatever you like to do or do multiple ways. If you're using the wet paper towel method, just put them in the middle of a paper towel, plop it over, and you want to keep it kind of loose because as you can see, it does put out a good root system and a good leaf system if you leave it too long. Dampen it. Not to where it's dripping, but just damp. Put it in a sealed Ziploc bag. Put your date, your name on it. Put it someplace warm. Every day or two, turn your bag over. And start checking it in about a week if you're in a really warm area. That's how easy it is. And then plant them. Sometimes you can plant them on the side. Sometimes you have to plant them on the edge. Just see what you've got and plant it the best way you can. Well, I'm out at my potting table. I finally got all my little sprouted mango seeds potted up. And I want to share a couple more things with you. Have you ever heard the word polyembryonic or monoembryonic? It refers to a characteristic of a seed. You know, the seed has the little embryo in it. A monoembryonic seed has one embryo. A polyembryonic seed can have 2 or more embryos. So what does that mean to us? It means that that polyembryonic seed can produce more than one plant, more than one stem, more than one root. This is a monoembryonic. And you saw all of these on the first part of the video. Isn't that neat? Still very soft, growing very well. I set them outside last night because we had some rain, and rainwater is so good for them. And I did uncover them just a little bit. This is one seed. The seed had one stem coming up and one root system. A monoembryonic. It is going to produce one plant. This baby is a polyembryonic, and I showed it to you also in the first segment of the video. It has 2 stems. They are separate, and they have 2 separate root systems corresponding with the stems. Isn't that neat? So why do we want to know if they're polyembryonic or monoembryonic? Just more than curiosity. But why I get excited about it when I find a polyembryonic seed. Polyembryonic seeds have the tendency to come true. Come true just means that the new seedling is going to be an exact copy of the parent plant. And you'll hear people a lot saying, don't bother planting seeds, they won't come true. Well, ignore them. They are partially correct, but ignore them. Plant every seed you can. They're correct. It might not come exactly true to the parent plant. It actually could be better. It could taste better. It could be more pest resistant, more disease resistant, more drought resistant. Or it could be somewhere similar to the parent plant. Or it could be worse. The fruit's really yuck. You don't like it. But most of the time, seedlings are stronger, more pest resistant, and more disease resistant, and make fantastic rootstock. Now, that's according to a Dr. Campbell with the University of Florida's Agricultural Outreach Division. So you can take that nice, healthy little rootstock and graft on it. Graft some scions from a mango that you like. So you're still in a win-win situation. Plus, even if you don't graft and you just let the tree go ahead and grow up, even if you don't like the fruit, you've still got a wonderful, beautiful shade tree. A habitat for the birds and the animals. A tree that's going to put oxygen into the atmosphere for us. Again, a win-win-win situation. So I just wanted to take a moment to go over polyembryonic and monoembryonic. Mango seeds are not the only ones that do this. I actually have an avocado plant that had 4 separate stems come up. So you've got some options here of how you want to handle a polyembryonic plant. Plant it just like I've done here and leave it alone. Some folks like to go in and clip off this weaker stem so that all the energy from the seed can go into the bigger stem. But I am not trained as a botanist enough to know which one of these stems might be the true clone to the parent plant. I leave mine. There is another possibility. Mother Nature will take care of it for you. One of these stems will die back on their own. Or you can still plant the whole thing with 2 healthy stems coming up. you have a fuller plant, a wonderful chance of having one of the limbs being true to the mother plant. So there's all these little options. Really neat. I mean, you know, nature's wonderful. Nature doesn't have to play by anybody's rules but nature's rules. So I'm not going to do anything to this. This is a nice, thick, sturdy, straight stem. This one is a little weaker looking, a little curved. I'm not going to mess with it. Now, sometimes this seed will go ahead and separate by itself and fall apart. And if you notice in the earlier segment, I had one do that. So that was a polyembryonic seed and it fell apart. I planted both sections separately. It was really small. It might make it or it might not. The monoembryonic over here has a nice thick stem. It should straighten out and get straight for me. I'll cover these back up. I just wanted you to see that these were from one seed only. Isn't that neat? Polyembryonic, monoembryonic. Many embryos, one embryo. Sometimes after you get used to planting for a while, get used to looking at seeds who have this characteristic, you can tell before you plant them. A polyembryonic seed will have little bumps, bulges, I guess is a better word, little bulges on it, where your monoembryonic seed is going to be kind of smooth and just one seed. There's a pretty good chance that if your seed has a bulge or two on it, it's going to be a polyembryonic. And again, it's not only mangoes. Lots of tropical seeds have this, and there are other plants that do have the ability to be polyembryonic or monoembryonic. Just so you know. Always plant your seeds. Always. You never know what you might get. A really nice surprise. And until we speak again, I hope that you can like, share, subscribe, watch the videos in their entirety. Please tell all your friends about the channel, and have a fantastic day.